Hi, this is my review of the Hackmaster Hacklopedia of Beasts. As you can see, this is a very beautiful book, but before we get started with this one, let me show you the other two books. I already did a video review for each one of these books that I'm going to show you. If you want to see those reviews, click on the links in the description below. Well, first we have the player's handbook. The other reviews were based on the PDF versions, but I just received the physical books the other day, and here they are. This is the first one, the Hackmaster Player's Handbook. It has a very nice texture. It's kind of like, it feels kind of like leather, but at the same time it's a bit harder than that. It has a nice kind of like plasticky feel to it. And as you can see, there are symbols and flourishes engraved. Let me see if I can get that in. Oh, here we go. You see all these graphics here? They are kind of like engraved in the book or indented, and you can see that there are some beautiful golden letters here. Kind of feels like part of an encyclopedia, and everything kind of feels like if you've ever touched a snake, it kind of feels like that. Has that like snaky texture, in my opinion. Feels pretty cool. Feels like I don't know, like some ancient wizard stone or something. And then we have well, let me show you the interior, because it's a full color book, very beautiful. And you can see all the signatures of the different people who play tested Hackmaster and made it all possible. Let me show you some of the pages. You have some pretty awesome illustrations. In the review, in the description below, you can see a lot more of the illustrations, and of course in better quality. But this is actually a pretty nice book, and everything is really easy to find. The quality of the paper is just amazing. This is really high quality. You get a map of the kingdoms of Kalamar at the end of the book. Some of the names of the places are a bit too small, and you may need a magnifying glass to read them. Thankfully, that same map comes in the Hackmaster GameMaster's Guide. The Hackmaster GameMaster's Guide just came out, and it has a different feel to the other two books. This one doesn't have any texture. It still looks pretty elegant and beautiful, but this one has like a really smooth feel to it, and as you can see, there are no graphics or flourishes of some sort. It's kind of like it has a very serious feel to it, like game mastering is a very serious thing. And for example, this is what I was telling you. Here you get a better an up-close look to the map in the other book, and here even though you can't see it very well on the screen, you can actually read a lot of all of the names of the different places. You have a lot of nice things here. And the critical tables are very well decorated, kind of like a coliseum, like an arena. I highly recommend that if you haven't done so yet, that you check my review for the Hackmaster GameMaster's Guide. And now let's take a look at the physical quality of the Hacklopedia of Beasts. As you can see, this has the other like this nice snaky texture of the player's handbook, and on the back side everything is just similar to the other book, but in the front side you can see that it's decorated with these like kind of like dragon scales. The texture is really nice. It's decorated with this huge eye, so it kind of feels like the book is kind of like alive or something. And the three books just look pretty well together. They look pretty well. They kind of like combine a style of that is fun and classy at the same time. So I highly recommend that you get the books. They're going to look great any place that you put them. Kind of like gaming encyclopedias, because they're just amazing. Now let's talk about the content of the Hacklopedia of Beasts. Well, this differs in tone from the other two books, in that when you start reading it, the book feels kind of like a role-playing prop, because this is supposed to be like a field guide with the annotations of different adventurers. You can see this illustration right here. Pretty cool. But this book, as I was telling you, it's supposed to be written by different adventurers, and the one that is like kind of like the main scribe of the book is Greatar the Gentle, which kind of reminds me of Gandalf the Grey. It's the wizard over there. But you also get other adventurers that they had their own adventures and encounters with the different monsters in the Hacklopedia. This character is pretty famous from the Knights of the Dinner Table comic, the Ravager. I've seen him as El Ravager. and the text is really funny. It has sort of like a dark humor to it, because, for example, about the Ravager, they're like, well, first of all, there are going to be some spoilers concerning the monsters in this book. And here with the Ravager, you get some text that says like, oh, the Ravager, the legendary warrior and adventurer that went to this place and to the other place, and some people speculate that he went to this unknown land seeking adventure and glory. And then they go, oh, but his corpse was recently found in the bottom of a spider pit. His mummified corpse was lying there, and that was the end of him. So that's pretty funny. One of my player characters, one of my players actually died. His cleric, it was like a level 4 cleric, died that way a long time ago in an AD&D game. That was pretty funny. Also fell down a pit, and a bunch of bugbears just shot arrows at him, and he ended up like that. So it happens. Now, the monsters in this book are very well organized and structured. With each monster, you have the monster name, an expert commentary. Usually one of the characters I was showing you, and these other two are the ones with commentary about those monsters. They give tips on how to fight against them, and all sorts of information related to that monster. You have monster descriptions, tactics, habitat, ecology, society, how they interact or live in the world of Telen, because this is based on the Kalamar campaign setting, the Kingdoms of Kalamar. And you also have animal signs and relative size, and ranger characters are going to love these animal signs, because you have like the footprints and the tracks and droppings of different creatures, so they can identify where they have been. You also get this one, the combat rows. It's a very useful graphic, so you get all the relevant stats for that creature and the special attacks and defenses. So you don't have to read and look for different values in walls of text. It's very well done. Now, there are a lot of monsters here, so I'll be showing just a few of them, so you get a good feeling of them. For example, you have the Aladdin's Hound. It's this one right here. and below you get the information, the tracks that this beast lives there, and the areas in the map where it appears, the relative size as compared to a human. And the cool thing, you also get different names. Maybe in a certain region it is known as the Gorund, and in another region they call it the Ape Wolf or the Shadow Hound, etc. And the cool thing is that you also get a lot of information on what this creature yields after the characters kill it, because sometimes players want to use everything. When they kill a monster, they want anything to go to waste. So for example, this monster, if you collect its saliva, it can be used as a salve for burns. And the tissue of the monster, it's used as a spell component for the Tireless Run spell. The pelt of the monster is worth 20 silver pieces. This monster is actually edible, so if you run out of food, you can eat this monster. And the forearms of the monster serve as clubs, so if you don't have weapons, you can salvage the bones of this monster as clubs. And you get a good bunch of monsters of different varieties for all sorts of adventures. So for example, we have the Arakian, or the centaur. And this is pretty funny. The centaur is edible, but it's considered cannibalism. You also have classical monsters such as the cockatrice. And yes, all the monsters have the same basic layout of its tracks, the regions where it can be found, and all the combat stats on this side, and more details. And you have a lot of information to build adventures around those monsters. You have drakes. You also have different types of dogs. Maybe they could serve as pets or enemies depending on the situation. There's a fairly extensive section on humans. Let's see if I can find it. Hobgoblin, humans. Yes, quite extensive, because you get different sub-races of humans, and the places, the regions that they occupy and their territory. Sorry about that. Okay. It's kind of hard to balance this book without damaging the pages, although it's high quality paper. I don't want it to get damaged. Here you have an example of each type of human, female and male. As you can see, some emulate the cultures from our world. For example, you can see like a Viking warrior then, and a Roman warrior. And you get stats for different types of NPCs. So you have like an entire gallery of NPCs. If your players suddenly decide to challenge an NPC, you can choose the appropriate stats here. And you have more specific types of humans. For example, you have the Berserker and the Brigand, according to your needs, to what kind of NPC you want to use. This Hydra looks pretty nightmarish. It's a very cool illustration, because most players won't be expecting this type of aquatic Hydra. It's kind of like aberration type of thing. Oh, there's also a monster. Let's see if I can find it. I thought it was really funny. It was the let's see if it's around here. Leprechaun. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let's see if I can. Oh, here it is. The Lich Man. It's like a blood-sucking humanoid, but this kind of feels like a tribute to the Chupacabra's myth, because this monster sucks the blood out of cattle. So this monster is also called the Shepherd's Bane. So I think it's like kind of like a joke or on the Chupacabra's myth. That's pretty cool. And it's actually slightly shorter than the man. You can see in the size comparison, and you get different the comparison on the its tracks as compared to a coin in there. And you have a lot of monsters. You have leprechauns, medusas, mummies, cyclops. You have different types of giant monsters. And one cool thing is in this Hacklopedia is that sometimes you get like small anecdotes or stories about that the different characters experience when fighting this or that monster. Some of them are pretty cool. Most of them have that like dark humor feel to them. For example, one of my favorite ones is the My Night of the Walking Dead. It's told by this rogue type character. Let me see if I can find the name. Oh, here it is, Daylan Darmai. And Daylan, here it is. He speaks about how his party entered this sort of like temple, and they got attacked by zombies, and he, like any good rogue, he just went into the shadows and stood there hiding as his entire party was massacred by the zombies. And then when everything was relatively safe, he came out and kind of tricked the zombies into falling down a pit or a chasm. And when all the undead fell down there, he went back inside the temple and looted the temple at his leisure. So it's quite funny. You also get a lot of information on how to customize the different humanoids. And you get different stat blocks, so you have them at hand when you need them. And there are different values and attacks and defenses. It's all very well done. Well, let me tell you what I think about this book, this Hacklopedia of Beasts. It's just amazing. It has nothing wrong with it. This a perfect bestiary, probably the best. It's probably the best bestiary I've seen because of its style and its usefulness. Just amazing. And all the flavored text concerning the different adventurers that supposedly faced these creatures, and this feels like a field guide for you to fight and survive against all those nasty creatures and horrors. So it's just an amazing book. It's Cancer and Company really did a pretty good job. Steve Johansson, David S. Cancer, Jolie R. Blackburn, Brian Jelk, and all the others. Thanks. These books are amazing. You need to get if you like fantasy role-playing games, old school fantasy role-playing games, and don't mind a bit of crunch. You should definitely get all the 3 Hackmaster books. I hear that the adventures are pretty good. I'll have to take a look at them one of these days. So and the 3 books together just look amazing. Probably the most elegant books in my collection, and as I was telling you, they combine that flavor of fun and classiness. Just a collection of amazing RPG books. You should definitely get all 3 books. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.